it was visible. Okay, everything in between was visible. He literally zoomed in as far as the zoom could go. What the? Hi guys. Hi. Hi guys. Hi. I hope you're liking my hair today. It is a wig. I'm just feeling myself, as you can see. So welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today we have another storytime video. It has been a while since I did a storytime video, and in light of the whole burning sun scandal, I started to remember some stuff that happened while I was there that had to do with people secretly taking my pictures, filming me, filming other people in very inappropriate places. I've seen some crazy stuff in Korea when I was there. I've seen two very drunk ajashis rolling around on the road while the cops were standing right there doing nothing and a traffic jam was forming. I have seen a guy dressed up in a penguin suit in the middle of the hot Korean summer on Haeundae Beach in Busan, which is like, why? You know, why? I even saw like this old guy watching porn with the biggest boner ever. No. He was having the time of his life sitting in the chair, and nobody was like saying anything about it. And I'm like, it's clearly visible what he's doing right there. One of my friends, oh, you know her, I mentioned her in my last video. If you haven't seen the video, it's linked up here. Lynn was had an altercation with a very crazy, and I mean literally crazy, Korean guy in the metro that kept touching her, and nobody did anything. That was also, you know, I mean, really weird stuff, like people trying to pull you into clubs, like literally grab your arm and pull you into a club walking in Hongdae, or guys trying to pull you out of a club when your group to, like, I don't know what you were thinking they were gonna do. One of the most disturbing crazy ones happened to me when I was in Busan with one of my friends. Came to visit me for 3 weeks from the Netherlands. Her name is Daniela. If you're watching this, hi. So let me just go back. Let me backtrack and get you into the story the right way. So we were there in Busan, 2013. I was 19. I was feeling myself. I was for my first time traveling alone, and my friend Daniela came to visit. We were in Seoul first, and we decided we were going to do a long weekend in Busan. It was around Chuseok time because we had like days off for Chuseok, so we decided long weekend is the way to go. We rented a very nice hostel, very near to Haeundae Beach, and we took the metro or subway, wherever you're from, how you call it, to kind of explore the city a little bit. Now, mind you, Busan is like the second city of Seoul, so they do have some black people, but again, we're talking about Korea. I have literally had like a guy leave his wife to come and walk circles around me, looking at me like I was some kind of exhibit, trying to figure out what I was. I mean, they weren't used to seeing black people 6 years ago, and they're still not used to seeing black people now. We were two black girls walking around the city, getting stared at. People weren't used to seeing us. It was quite a thing. And at a certain point, we decided we were going to kind of like I think we went to a temple. If I remember correctly, we went to a temple up in the hills, and we were coming back, and we decided to take the subway back to our hostel. Now this is where the story begins, us taking the metro back to our hostel. It was quite packed, it was very busy, it was a weekend, and it was like people had days off, people were visiting their families, so it was really packed in this metro. Now when we got in, we didn't have any spaces to sit, but a few stops later, two people got up and we went to sit. So I was sitting right by the door with a glass panel. There was someone sitting in between me and my friend Daniela, and then Daniela was sitting there. So you were sitting, talking in Dutch, discussing what we just saw, discussing what we were going to eat that night. You know, just talk. Just talk. So at a certain point, at one of the stops, two guys get in. And they were like in their mid-20s, 30s, I would say. They weren't that old. And one of the guys gets a seat, and he was sitting right across from the person who was sitting between Daniela and I. So it was kind of like a triangle situation right there. And his friend was still standing because there was no space to sit. So this guy takes out his phone, and you know, people take out their phone. He's busy on his phone. I wasn't really paying attention, at all, until at a certain point, I kind of see him and his friends start laughing. And then he kind of like, you know, when you know somebody's taking your picture, that's the feeling I got. Because he was kind of like tilting his phone towards me, and then tilting his phone towards Daniela, and tilting his phone towards me again. And, you know, just like, you could see that he was clicking, like he was taking pictures. Now, I'm used to people staring in Korea. I'm even used to some people taking pictures from a distance. But this got me so uncomfortable because we were locked in this metro and there was nowhere to go. We didn't speak the language enough to defend ourselves. And this guy was literally just taking our pictures. And he was taking a lot of them, not just a few. He was taking a lot of pictures. He was going ham. Then, a few stops later, the person who was sitting between myself and Daniela stood up and left. Now, before Daniela could even scoot over, or I could even scoot over to her, his friend just drops right in the middle of us and sits there. So now I'm feeling awkward because you were just like apparently talking about us, taking our pictures and laughing about it, and now you decide to just plant yourself in the middle of this situation. What's going on? I wasn't understanding it. And that's when it started to get even weirder, because then his friend, without even hiding it this time, was just taking his phone and taking pictures of his friend sitting in the middle of us and laughing, like literally just laughing about the fact that his friend was sitting in the middle of two black girls, which I guess was a novelty. I was kind of feeling like, okay, you know, we get it, it's done, you know, we're people, we're human, it's done. And you would think that this is a story, but it's not. It gets worse. So as we were going along our trip, station after station, this girl gets in. Korean girl, had a white dress, very, very short, very, very tight white dress. And she sits down, right, I would say diagonally across from me. So we were like now in a zigzag formation. Myself, dude with a phone that was taking pictures. Next to me, his friend. Next to his friend was Daniela. And like diagonally across from Daniela was this Korean girl. I immediately could see that that dress was too short, like too short. You could like see this beginning of her butt when she was sitting down, and she was sitting in such like a manner that her legs were kind of falling open. It was visible, okay? Everything in between was visible. That's kind of awkward to have a dress that short that people could just look into you for JJ. Not my taste, but okay. So, to my astonishment, to my, what's the right word for this? To my dismay. I think that's a great word. Big word, great word. Dude next to me decides to take out his phone too, because he spotted her too. As she sat down, he spotted her, said something to his friend in Korean, takes out his phone, and then sneakily tilts up the phone, puts on the video, and starts filming this girl. And I could see it all happening because I was right next to him. So I'm like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? He kind of like moves back and to the side a little so he could see right in between her legs and zooms in. He literally zoomed in as far as the zoom could go. What the fuck? This dude zoomed in and he was there. I mean, he literally recorded about 2 minutes of this girl between her legs. Like at that point, I think I was still a bit romanced by the whole Kdrama idea. The guys are so sweet, holding hands is the whole thing. You know, when people hold hands in drama, you're like, ah, okay, okay. At that moment in time, I realized that, yeah, nah, dramas are fake. Exactly what people are realizing now with the whole Burning Sun scandal is that guys are guys everywhere, and there are douchebags and assholes everywhere. So luckily, a few stops later was our stop to get off. And we did get off and just left. Thinking back in hindsight, I should have said something, even if it was like in English. But I was so scared of like making a scene, of being the foreigner that says something. And people always told me that if you are a foreigner and you get into a fight in Korea, or you get into an argument and you go to the police, then you're the one who's at fault in all situations, even if it's not your fault. And that kept like going through my mind at that point, and I was like, I don't want to make any waves. I'm here as a guest. That was my attitude. And thinking back, I don't know if that was the right attitude to have. But yeah, hindsight is 2020. And I've seen some more stuff in metros. Like, if you want to see crazy stuff, always be like in Korean subways or metros. I think Korea is a very interesting country in terms of sexuality and sexualness and how they communicate that, how they show that to the world. Because on the one hand, you have the whole, we are so innocent. And on the other hand, you have the, whoa, you guys are freaky. And there's some freaky stuff going on. And yeah, it's very interesting. So we'll see again in September when I'm going to be in Korea, what else I'll encounter, and see if things have changed since the last time I was there. And yeah, that was basically my story, guys. So if you liked this story time, like it, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel. Click the bell button to see more of these. This is not a story time channel, but once in a while, occasionally, when I feel like it, I post a story time. So that's that. In any case, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.